Did you know that a costume could shape the entire perception of a character? Think about it. One outfit can transform an actor into a legend. But what makes these outfits so unforgettable? Why do they stay with us long after the credits roll? The golden age of cinema was a time of glamour, elegance, and unforgettable performances. But behind those mesmerizing films, there was a crucial element that often stole the show: the costumes. From the extravagant gowns of the silver screen's leading ladies to the sharp suits of Hollywood's most dashing men, costumes were more than just clothing. They were a storytelling tool. Today, we'll dive into how these iconic outfits not only shaped the way characters were perceived, but also reflected the cultural and social dynamics of the time. Get ready to see how costumes were the unsung heroes of cinema's golden years. The rise of iconic costumes. In the golden age of cinema, costumes didn't just complement a character, they defined them. The right costume could elevate a star from simply being an actor on screen to a cultural icon. Just think about legends like Greta Garbo, Marilyn Monroe, and Humphrey Bogart. These stars are remembered not only for their incredible performances, but for the iconic outfits they wore. Their costumes became nearly as famous as the films themselves, often shaping how we remember them. These outfits weren't just about looking good, they were crafted to make a statement. They elevated the character's personality, reflected their emotional depth, and sometimes even pushed the boundaries of fashion. Consider Greta Garbo in Mata Hari, 1931. In this film, Garbo wasn't just portraying a seductive spy, she became the embodiment of mystery, strength, and elegance. Her costumes didn't just reflect her character's role, they enhanced her portrayal of a complex woman caught between power and vulnerability. Costume designer Adrian worked with luxurious fabrics, rich colors, and dramatic cuts to make Garbo's character come alive in ways that words on a script never could. The costumes didn't just look stunning, they served as a visual extension of her inner world. Each piece of clothing spoke volumes about her character's internal struggles and desires, weaving a deeper narrative into the film itself. The glamorous gowns and sharp silhouettes didn't just scream elegance, they also hinted at the tension beneath the surface, the contradictions within Garbo's character. But it wasn't just about Garbo. Marilyn Monroe's white dress in The 7-Year Itch, 1955, is another unforgettable example. That famous moment with her dress billowing over the subway grate became a symbol of both innocence and sensuality. The dress wasn't just a fashion statement, it defined Monroe's on-screen persona, a mix of vulnerability and allure. Similarly, Humphrey Bogart's trench coat in Casablanca, 1942, became an emblem of his tough guy image, representing not just the man but the era's style and the film's themes of duty and sacrifice. So how did costume designers manage to turn simple fabric into powerful storytelling tools? How did they decide on the right materials, colors, and styles to bring each character to life in such a vivid, emotional way? Was it the fabric's textures that whispered the character's hidden thoughts? Or were the colors more than just pretty hues? They were statements, communicating the mood and inner conflict of the characters without a word being spoken. Costume designers in Hollywood's golden age were masters at crafting visual narratives. They understood that each piece of clothing was more than just a costume. It was a vital part of storytelling. Whether through the sharp lines of a suit, the flowing elegance of a gown, or the subtle details of accessories, they were shaping characters' journeys. These outfits were not only about looking fabulous on screen, they were about giving the audience insight into who these characters truly were, who they wanted to be, and who they really were underneath it all. How costume designers used color and fabric to signal a character's journey. You won't believe how much thought went into every tiny detail. Fashion's influence on character development. In the golden age of cinema, costumes weren't just about looking stylish. They were a vital tool for revealing a character's emotions, personality, and even their internal struggles. Costume designers worked closely with directors and actors to make sure every stitch told a story. The right outfit could instantly communicate a character's social status, mood, and motivations. Fashion became a powerful visual language that deepened the audience's connection to the story, giving them an understanding of the character's journey without a single line of dialogue. One of the best examples of this is Marilyn Monroe in The 7-Year Itch, 1955. Her iconic white halter dress, famous for billowing up over a subway grate, wasn't just a piece of clothing, it became a symbol of both innocence and sensuality. Monroe's character, who embodies both vulnerability and charm, was perfectly reflected in that dress. The dress wasn't just flattering, it captured her character's playful, free-spirited nature, while also hinting at the more complex emotional layers underneath. Think about it. Without even saying a word, Monroe's dress spoke volumes. It was light, flowing, and carefree, just like her character, who was open to adventure and love. But at the same time, it highlighted her beauty and drew attention to her vulnerability. She wasn't just any ordinary character, she was a symbol of the tension between innocence and the allure of adult life. Consider the costumes in Gone with the Wind, 1939, where Scarlett O'Hara's wardrobe evolves alongside her character. At the beginning of the film, Scarlett's dresses are light, delicate, and full of youth. She's the picture of Southern charm and naivety. But as the movie progresses, her clothes reflect her inner transformation. As she faces loss, hardship, and the complexities of love, her outfits grow more sophisticated and assertive. By the end, her wardrobe is elegant and powerful, signaling her resilience and determination. The costumes mirror Scarlett's growth from a naive Southern belle to a strong-willed woman navigating a turbulent world. So how exactly do costume designers decide what to put a character in? Is it just about picking a pretty dress, or do they carefully consider how each outfit tells a deeper part of the story? How do designers create such a strong connection between what the character wears and who they are? Technological advances in costume design. During the golden age of cinema, costume design wasn't just a matter of creativity, it was also influenced by significant technological advancements. These innovations in fabric, techniques, and materials opened up new possibilities for costume designers, allowing them to push the boundaries of what could be done on screen. Whether it was the rise of synthetic fabrics, new dyeing techniques, or elaborate handcrafting methods, these technological improvements helped create the iconic, often larger-than-life looks we associate with classic films. Take the film Gone with the Wind, 1939, where the costumes play a crucial role in telling the story. The movie's wardrobe, designed by the legendary designer Walter Plunkett, used luxurious fabrics like silk, velvet, and satin. These fabrics weren't just beautiful, they were an essential part of the film's epic feel. For instance, the elaborate ball gowns worn by Scarlett O'Hara were made with rich, heavy fabrics that added to the grandeur of the scenes. But it wasn't just about using expensive materials. The film's success was also due to how technological advances in textile production allowed for more complex designs. These advancements helped designers create costumes that looked flawless on screen, no matter the lighting or the motion of the actors. Another breakthrough was in the creation of color film, which had a massive impact on costume design. Before color films, designers worked mainly with black and white films, which limited their choices. However, with color film, designers could play with bold hues, allowing them to use costumes not just for texture, but also to tell the audience what the character represented emotionally or socially. In The Wizard of Oz, 1939, for example, Dorothy's blue gingham dress became iconic partly because of how it stood out against the vivid colors of the Land of Oz. The contrast highlighted Dorothy's innocence and the new, colorful world she was entering. How did the use of new materials and color techniques allow costume designers to transform a simple piece of clothing into a work of cinematic art? Did these technological advances change how filmmakers thought about storytelling through costumes? The impact of costumes on film's visual storytelling. Costumes in the golden age of cinema weren't just about style, they were essential to visual storytelling. The right costume could convey emotions, set the tone, and deepen the meaning of a scene. In many films, the way characters were dressed helped the audience understand the underlying themes of the story, the moral conflicts at play, and even the shifting dynamics between characters. Filmmakers understood that a character's wardrobe could speak louder than words, using costumes to visually communicate their journey and development. Take The Wizard of Oz, 1939, a film where costumes played a critical role in reinforcing the themes of innocence, courage, and transformation. Dorothy's simple blue gingham dress was an immediate visual clue to her humble, home-loving nature, but it was her transition into the vibrant, fantastical world of Oz that brought her costume and its meaning into focus. As she moved through the colorful Land of Oz, her dress contrasted sharply with the magical surroundings, emphasizing her innocence and highlighting her role as the central, unassuming hero in a world of larger-than-life characters. The use of color in costumes also became a powerful tool in visual storytelling. For instance, in Gone with the Wind, Scarlett O'Hara's red dress in the famous "I'll Never Be Hungry Again" scene became a symbol of her determination and transformation. As the fabric shifted from soft, lighter tones to bolder, more dramatic ones, it visually reflected Scarlett's change from a naive young woman to a fierce, self-reliant survivor. How do costumes influence the emotional tone of a film? Can the way a character is dressed change how we feel about them, or even how we interpret the story itself? Cultural and social influence. Costumes in the golden age of cinema were not only shaped by the filmmakers' creative visions, but also reflected the cultural and social climates of the time. Fashion, as seen on screen, was a mirror of the changing values, social norms, and political landscapes in society. Films during this period often used costumes to reflect the optimism, struggles, and aspirations of the era, making them more than just pieces of fabric. They became cultural symbols. Take, for instance, the post-war optimism reflected in the glamour of Hollywood fashion in the 1940s. After World War II, there was a surge of optimism and desire for luxury and beauty, which was echoed in the elaborate, sophisticated gowns and suits worn by actresses like Lauren Bacall and Ingrid Bergman. The classic Hollywood glamour look, featuring deep V-neck dresses, fur stoles, and perfectly tailored suits, was a reflection of society's desire to leave behind the hardships of the war and embrace a new era of prosperity and elegance. Similarly, in films like Casablanca, 1942, the costumes of characters like Ilsa, Ingrid Bergman, and Rick Humphrey Bogart communicated a sense of wartime resilience and emotional complexity. Ilsa's elegant dresses were a symbol of her grace and strength, while Rick's more subdued, practical wardrobe highlighted his emotional restraint. These costume choices were a visual reflection of the turbulent social and political times of World War II, illustrating the characters' internal struggles and the larger narrative of wartime sacrifice. How did costumes act as a reflection of the changing values of society during the Golden Age? Could the style and design choices of a character tell us more about their world than their words ever could? Legacy of Golden Age costumes. The costumes of the Golden Age of cinema left a lasting impact on both the fashion industry and modern filmmaking. These iconic outfits continue to inspire designers, stylists, and filmmakers today. The timeless elegance and intricate designs of the era's costumes have shaped the visual language of cinema, influencing how films are costumed and how characters are visually represented on screen. But it's not just in the film that the legacy of Golden Age costumes lives on. Many of these looks have transcended the silver screen to become mainstays in the fashion world. Consider the influence of Audrey Hepburn's costumes in Breakfast at Tiffany's, 1961. Hepburn's little black dress, designed by Hubert de Givenchy, has become one of the most iconic fashion moments in film history. This dress, which epitomizes grace, sophistication, and simplicity, continues to inspire modern fashion designers. It has become a symbol of timeless elegance, one that is still emulated in fashion collections today. Elements of the Golden Age style, whether it's the sleek lines of a 1930s evening gown or the bold, dramatic shapes from the 1950s, can still be seen in contemporary haute couture collections. Additionally, the costumes from The Great Gatsby, 2013, which paid homage to the opulence of the 1920s, show how modern films still draw from the rich history of costume design in the Golden Age. Designers today still look back to that era for inspiration, recreating the lavish details and glamour that made Golden Age costumes so unforgettable. What makes these iconic costumes still so relevant today? Can fashion from the past shape modern style, or does it just offer us a glimpse into a more glamorous time? So, next time you watch a classic film, take a moment to appreciate the costumes that helped bring the story to life. How did a single dress or suit shape a character's identity? The impact of these iconic outfits goes far beyond fashion. If you enjoyed uncovering the secrets behind the costumes of the Golden Age, don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more cinematic insights. You won't want to miss what we have in store next.